Hi, Dee Dee Explores here. Yes, I'm looking up into the sun. I want to try to get the lock behind me. We're going to explore Lock 28 and Dam 19. I hope you enjoy it. It's a beautiful day out. Let's go. Well, here we are again. I hope to have a successful explore this time. We're just outside Whitehaven, and we're going to go down to Lock 28 and Dam number 19. Has an extensive history. I'll get back to you in a minute on that one. This is the path going down to the lock. It's pretty clear up here, but let's see what it looks like down at the lock. Beautiful morning. I mean, it's late February. Here we are. Sun is out. You need I would say, a medium jacket, but after walking a little bit, you could always peel that jacket off. Yeah, we're almost there. I can hear the water. Hopefully, some of the brush will be not as bad as last time I was here. Last time I was here, it was so darn bad I couldn't get through. It was just horrible. Plus, it was so darn cold. Everything was frozen and, you know, one of those kind of explores. I kind of called it a successful failure. I kind of got to the lock, but it was just too hard to get down in it like I did previous years. Looks like some of it collapsed. I mean, I guess it will. It's well over 100 years old. Doesn't look too bad down there. I'm thinking we could do this. That river back there in the background, that's the Lehigh River. In the background, that trestle it's a live train trestle. I've been on there before. I have a video on it. Part of it's destroyed, not destroyed, but part of it has damage. I don't know if there was an accident there at one time or what. Those steps, they look like big giant steps over there. Those aren't steps. That's part of dam number 19. We're going to be crawling up there in a few minutes. Okay, here's the path to get down in the bowels of the lock. Yeah, you gotta love it. People love their light beer around here. Last time I was here, the brush and the snow and the ice, it was just horrible. Okay, we're near the bottom of the lock now. In just a few seconds, I'll be giving you some more history on it. And there's the path we just came down. Yeah, there's a few trees down. But it wasn't as bad as last time, thank goodness. And there is a little bridge, tunnel, the little bitty waterfall. Kind of pretty, huh? It's still got some ice on there. Okay, I'm going to turn this off for a second because I want to try to get a picture of that. Okay, we made it down to the bottom. Now I just have to go in. This lock is higher than most of them on the Lehigh River. This one is 23 feet high. 23 feet rise, I should say. And to get down here, I kind of had to walk through all these rocks. There's a lot of moss. I had to be careful with my footing. Didn't want to fall. Well, there it is. I'm not sure how long it was. I'll have to do some research on that. And in just a few seconds, I'll be giving you some history on it. Here's one of the shafts. Tunnel, water shaft that used to pump the water in and out of here. That cool stonework. Okay, I'm down in the lock now. Lock 28, dam 19. We're going to explore this a little bit. But first I'd like to give you a little bit of history on it. It's really got a quite interesting history. John Lyons was the first settler here in 1824. It was a one-home settlement. They called it Lyonsville. And the Lyonsville Canal opened in 1835. In 1843, the town was renamed White, after Hosea White, who built like the canal system, the D&L, all that. They named it Whitehaven. He was the owner of the Lehigh Coal and Navigation Canal System. And he's also the one that built the bear trap. He's also the one who built the bear trap locks on the Lehigh Canal system. It's really interesting, simple, but so effective. This system enabled the coal to be transported from like up in this area all the way down there, down to Philly and all that surrounding area. It was really quite a feat way back then. I would have loved to be here just to see what kind of equipment did they use. They didn't have huge bulldozers like we do today. They didn't have big cranes like we do today. They didn't have all that stuff. Now, Whitehaven had a unique spot in this whole thing. It was the north terminus for a new 26-mile addition, and it began in Mauch Chunk. Oh, you hear me crunching through the ice there? Oh, my feet might get wet. It began in Mauch Chunk, and it came up the Lehigh River, through the Pocono Mountains, and they called this the Upper Grand. It was the Upper Grand section of the Lehigh Canal. It was a direct connection between like these big forests and coal fields of northeast PA and the ports on the Delaware River down in Philly. I was going to walk back there, but my boots aren't waterproof, and the ice is starting to break through. Up there, you can see the small deck that we were just on a few minutes ago. See, beautiful stonework. If anybody knows like why these ridges or slats were built in here, please tell me, because I don't know. I did research, but I couldn't find out why. Was it just for stabilization? Was there a reason? Were they able to shorten or lengthen the lock by using these, sliding gates or, big sliding stuff down there to contain the water? Anyhow, where we're standing now, we would have been like totally underwater way back in the day because, you know, just at that end of the lock that you're looking at now, the water was up on top of that. And down here, well, the water was down here where we were standing. Okay, I'm going to work my way out of here, and we're going to go up on the side of this. Hopefully I won't fall in any big ice puddles. I'm going to turn the camera off and put it away while I work my way through there. Don't want to have anything bad happen to my camera. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm glad I didn't fall. I'm not having a very graceful morning. You ever have a morning like that? Yeah, I think we all do at some point in time. It looks like it was a good 20 feet wide, the walls. I did a lot of research, but I couldn't find, you know, like measurements of it. And here's, like I said, right here we would be underwater because the river is flowing. Actually, the river looks pretty high. If it keeps up like this, those whitewater rafters are going to have a ball. Oh, I bet that water's cold. Whew. Okay, let's go back to the lock. We'll work our way around here, and when I get up by the dam part, I'm going to get a drink of water and I'll tell you some more history about this. Yeah, construction. Tell you what, all this crafting from what, 1834 this was built. And here it stands. Doesn't really look like there's any cement between the rocks, does it? There it stands, the test of time. You wonder, the stuff they build today, it just seems to be falling apart within 50 years. And here's this thing. What, about 170 years old? There it stands. Strong as could be. Oh my. You can see up there, it looks like steps. It's not steps. That was part of the dam breast. This down here crumbled. There was a flood. As soon as I scramble up there and get situated, I'll give you some more history on that. That looks like it's more than 23 feet high, but I'll be up there in a minute and show you everything else. Actually, I'm glad I came now, because once this starts to fill in with the leaves, it's going to be hard to get around here. And we've got mushrooms. Don't ask me if they're edible. I don't know the first thing about mushrooms. I picked mine from the grocery store. Okay, we're almost there. Let's scramble up here. Actually, it's turning out to be a gorgeous day. I might go out on the bike later. In fact, you know what? I'm going to fire that baby up and go out there as soon as I get home. Go out for a ride. Oh my goodness. Help me out here. There we go. There we go. No, there's nobody with me here. I'm just talking to myself like I always do. Okay. We're up here. Well, I scrambled a little bit to get up here. Stretched a little bit too far. I'm hoping I could get back down there without killing myself. Okay. Ta-da! We're up here. Okay, those are the quote-unquote what look like steps. They're pretty big. Maybe like 2.5 feet each. Okay, I'll say some of them are 2.5 feet. I don't think they're any more than 3 feet, but this was the breast of the dam. The water would come flowing over here. Could you imagine how pretty that looked? The water come tumbling down these steps. And that went right across the river. Right on this side of the bridge is where it wound up. It's a tiny bit of a curve. There were 2 floods that affected this whole operation. And as soon as I sit down and get a drink of water, I will tell you about it. Okay, this is kind of the northern side of the canal lock, I should say. You can see it's starting to crumble in a bit there. That was one of the water vents, water holes, to pump the water in and out. Because there were 2. The one that I was in down there at that end, and one up here. This one is crumbling. I hope they do something to preserve it, because it'd be a shame to lose this whole thing to time. Okay, I got through those rocks without killing myself, which was great. Let's go down here a bit. There we go. Whew. Yeah, every time I come here, the brush gets worse and worse. I mean, I'm sure they have no intentions of trimming it back. But we'll see. Maybe they'll do it someday and it'll be easier to crawl around here. Like I said, I'm glad I came this time of year. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to see half of this because of the leaves. Now, for a little bit more history. Whitehaven, way back then in 1834, their primary business was lumber. Well, even before that, actually. The area was covered with pine and hemlock. They used to use that a lot. Now, John Lyons built the first sawmill in the area, and the second one was built by the Lehigh Coal and Navigation Company. Why? Because they needed enormous amounts of logs and lumber to build the locks and the dam of this section, the Upper Grand. And, I mean, other sawmills were built. And in a short time, Whitehaven became one of the busiest lumber depots in Pennsylvania. Whitehaven has quite an extensive history once you start digging. Now, in 1860, there were 10 large sawmills in Whitehaven. They cut more than 20 million feet of lumber annually. Yes, 20 million feet a year. I mean, that's a lot, you know, especially for way back then. And then in 1841, there was a severe flood, caused a lot of damage. The dams and locks were rebuilt. And then another flood, worse flood, in 1862, put the Upper Grand out of business forever. Yeah, forever. The locks and dams were swept away and they were never rebuilt. Now, like I said, this lock is 23 feet high. It's more than 3 times the usual height. Most of them were like 7 or maybe even 10 feet high. And they could pass a boat in 3 minutes. That's right, 3 minutes. Just about as quick as a lock with only a 5-foot lift. I mean, they had this down. And the high lift locks like this one lowered boats filled with over 100 tons. That's right, 100 tons of coal up and down as much as 30 feet. These high lift locks were really amazing way back. And to construct these, oh my goodness, that was a step. And to construct them, as well as the channels, dams and lock tender houses were built. Now this big stone part here, I can only imagine this was part of the lock tender house, because it's like maybe 30 feet away from the dam. I mean the lock, I'm sorry. They employed hundreds and hundreds of workers. Hosea White wrote that the laborers came from all nations. Yeah, they came from all over. But most of them were from Germany, Ireland, Wales, and Scotland. Mr. White often worked alongside of his men, which I think was kind of cool. You don't find too many bosses working with employees these days, do you? He said that his men needed strong shoes with holes cut in the toe to let out the water. So basically, some of these guys had wet feet all day long. I can't imagine what their feet felt like at the end of the day. And he also admitted, I don't know anything about blasting, nor did the workers. But we were lucky, because we only lost 2 men. Yeah, they were lucky, but those poor men weren't. Well, we made a ring around the canal. The lock. And dam 19. I have some pictures that I might put in the video, because from all the research I did, they are public domain, so I should be good on that. And here we are, back at the little stand that we were on in the beginning. To get to the lock and the dam, we basically have to walk past this. I'm going to stop for a second and take a picture, see what I could get. Like I said, it's a gorgeous day out today. Enjoy it. Take advantage of it. Well, while we're down here by this second gorgeous little waterfall, I found something just a tiny bit interesting. Looks like it's a piece of slag. Kind of what it looks like to me. It's got the texture. Slag, or at least a tiny bit of stuff from the coal ruins. Well, this bridge is the one that we saw a little earlier in the video. I'm going to walk over to it. You could see the supports. They were built way back then, like 1834. They're pretty darn good. I'm sure they had to touch them up a little bit here and there as time went on. But golly, strong stuff. When they built stuff back then, they built it to last. A lot of crows out today. Yeah, baby. Oh. Like I said, that is the active bridge. I have a video of that earlier. You could see where some of the wreckage was. I don't know, it had to be an accident at one time. A train derailed or something. Actually, this bridge took a lot of damage back in those floods that I had mentioned earlier. But, the damage isn't from way back then. The damage is much more recent. Nice and strong. Okay. There is a small path to go down there a little farther, but it's pretty steep, so I'm not going to go down there today. But you could see there on the bottom where they had big concrete pillars built up. That's how high the water used to get sometimes. Or I should say that's how high the water was when the dam was active, when the dam was in place. So actually, we would only be just a few feet away from the river if it was way back then in 1834. A long time ago. History, history, history. You gotta love it. It's so interesting. Okay, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting out. The spring is just around the corner. If you want to come with me on future adventures, click subscribe, like, comment, and the notification bell, please. I hope to see you soon. Peace, baby.